Hello again and welcome back to another one. And today we have a couple of topics to cover, from one that shows J. Cole detail how rappers like Eminem Nas Kanye West helped shape his career. And this is all thanks to a recent podcast from the rapper, and we'll expand on this in a moment. Today we also have the latest retro lyric video from Eminem for Fuel featuring G.I.D. And this has sparked split reactions from fans, as clearly not everyone is a fan of the retro art style from the 90s. Or perhaps these fans were just disappointed it wasn't an actual music video. More on this in a moment. And today we also have what looks to be Diddy getting exposed again by Shyne, who spent roughly a decade in prison after he was allegedly Diddy's fall guy after an incident. And boy, he made a wild revelation a few hours ago, and if he was actually telling the truth, we got some wild clips that would add some more context that makes this even more egregious. And speaking on Diddy, we got Suge Knight out here sharing some wild details involving some powerful names that were all part of the Puffy parties, including a former president of the United States. And we got more from Snoop and Dre that pretty much confirms that they don't believe anyone in hip-hop would be a worthy opponent in a Verzuz battle against them. And we got legacy hip-hop heads out here pretty much trolling Drake fans. So stick around, we have a lot to unpack in this one. And starting out with Eminem's latest lyric video for Fuel, it has sparked some interesting reactions, as some are disappointed, as while on one end, we got retro gaming fans who found this appealing, all while some believe this was one of his best songs in the past 10 years. The lyric video is also catching some heat on the other end. I might be stupid, but how the F this song and pixel art with warm colors and sunset are connected? I just watched it and it is even worse, lol. They are just lyrics and some random crap in the background going on. What the F is that? And like they say, comparison is the thief of joy. Some users have been comparing this to tone deaf. That was disappointing, to be honest. I was expecting the video to be more fitting to the lyrics like Tone Deaf, but it was just random arcade stuff with lyrics. And more on this comparison from X, Tone Deaf better. But perhaps the real problem may be that fans have been asking for a music video, as we also got this. We need a music video for this and Guilty Conscience too. But what are your thoughts on the official lyric video? And moving on, J. Cole recently announced the first season of his podcast series titled Inevitable, and the first episode dropped a few hours ago, and we got to find out some interesting details about J. Cole in this, from how Kanye helped expand his concept of how to rap about yourself, since you know he didn't have a come-up story that's as fascinating like, say, 50 Cent, who got shot 9 times. Check out a snippet from the podcast explaining this.
Finding was, I was an aggressive battle rapper, right, that had like bars, and I was a storyteller of like fantasy, like The Storm, like completely made up scenarios, whether it be a love story, like a movie. I had that, but my life was actually hella regular. I didn't sell no drugs, you know what I mean? Like it was nothing like my favorite rappers, you know what I mean? Like it was nothing like Jay-Z life looked like. It was nothing like fucking Pac life appeared to be, you know what I mean? It wasn't nothing gangster about it. So I had a hard time seeing myself as somebody, you know what I mean? That the lifestyle portion was kind of like, I didn't get it. I didn't know how to talk about my life in a way that was like, that people could connect with, or even I could. And then Kanye West happened right before I went to college. In the summer of 2003, before I went to college, the Through the Wire video dropped. And that shit changed my life, first of all. And then I became like a massive Kanye fan, and Kanye was the first time that I saw myself in somebody damn near where it was like, oh wait, this nigga just like made it possible to talk about your life or your regular ass perspective in a way that's like appealing, and like in a way that, like, you know what I mean, like this nigga became like my favorite artist at that point. So he kind of cracked my mind open. So then when I did jump back in, or right before my sophomore year, I didn't know it, but I had somehow developed the angle.
Although some have fired back at Cole with, then you dissed him at his lowest, snake emojis, and Ye fans aren't having it. F J. Cole. But check this out, I understand that Cole dissed him, but two things can be true at once, and it doesn't mean he respects him any less, but at some point, your idols become your rivals. And speaking on his storytelling abilities, we got excerpts from the episode thanks to Shady End on X. Nervous Wreck was the one who told me, yo, all this cannabis battle rap-ish you're doing, it is cool and good to have, but nobody really wants to hear just that. Tell your story. That stuck with me and it clicked because my favorite rappers at the time, Eminem, Nas, they were all storytellers. I was drawn to them because of how they told their stories. He unlocked something in me that I didn't even realize I had. Just by challenging me, he helped me discover a skill that turned out to be one of my strongest points as a rapper. And to build on J. Cole's point, some added, Storm by Cole, you can literally hear M and Nas at the same time. And of course, this only fueled the requests for a J. Cole and Eminem collaboration that's yet to happen, and I'll be looking forward to your thoughts later. And before we head to Diddy getting exposed again, since Kendrick Lamar is pretty much guaranteed to win a Grammy after multiple nominations for Not Like Us in multiple categories, we got hip-hop media heads already practicing on behalf of Kendrick Lamar, practicing his acceptance speech. Check out a snippet from the Bigger Picture podcast.
How do you accept an award for Not Like Us?
All right, so look, let's do a Not Like Us acceptance speech for Record of the Year. Go.
I brought my coats together, man.
No, that's not going to be it. Jeremy Heck, you go.
And the winner is Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us. Woo!
First of all, thank God. Second of all, I want to give a big thank you to Tupac. Third of all, I want to thank the city that raised me, Coast that supported me, the people that were my day ones. I want to thank Top Dog Entertainment. I want to thank all the homies over there. He's going to shout out random names. I think he'll like shout out random names. I don't know.
Stay character.
I almost didn't want to do this record. Sometimes in war, I thought about walking away, but I knew this was good versus evil, and the light prevailed. Thank you, God.
I'll respect it. J-Dot, baby. That was good.
That was all right.
Can we hear yours? Can we hear yours?
Yo, this is crazy. You go through things in life that change you. Some things change you for good, some things change you for worse. But change is always a good thing. What I've learned this year alone is that every time you get faced with adversity, the key is to push through it. And so that's what I want everybody to take from this is anytime you're presented with a challenge, answer that challenge. Answer it with faith and integrity. And most importantly, truth.
Yeah, West Coast.
That was
West Coast.
That was good.
You guys are smart guys, man. I like working with y'all.
And if that was their attempt to get a rise out of Drake fans, well, it worked, as this got reactions like,
Do something else! Holy shit! We have it! We have it already! You don't have to do that anymore! We have the music already!
and more. Wow, these are actually grown men. And moving on, after we heard stories about how Diddy would, quote, break the bank for Cassie when they were dating, like we heard from former Bad Boy artist who claimed she had an allowance in the range of 30 to 50 grand a week.
You asked her how much she was making?
Yeah, I just wanted to know what her allowance was because she had an allowance. Because the first thing I think is like, what would I do in that position? So when I asked how much she was making, it was like close to $30,000, almost $50,000 a week. That's a lot of money.
Well, Shyne went on The Breakfast Club a few hours ago and dropped a bombshell about what went down after he was Diddy's fall guy that got him a decade in prison. Check out a snippet.
So there wasn't an instant forgiveness. I got out in 2009. There wasn't an attempt at reconciliation until 2012. And that was the first attempt at forgiveness. But I was still in a place of he owes me. He owes me his life. He owes me, he's a billionaire. If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have been a billionaire. If I would have cooperated with the district attorney, he'd have went to jail and heaven knows what would have happened to his career, right? So, you know, that's worth at least a couple $1 million out of the billion that you're worth. And interestingly enough, you know, one of the things that Cassie alleges in her lawsuit is that when, you know, he would assault her, then he would, you know, take her on shopping sprees. And so I saw that in Paris. He spent like $500,000 like in one day shopping for her. And then, you know, I felt he owed me something. And so it's like, you know, he probably gave me like 50 racks. And I'm like, you know, you can't be serious. Like, that's 10 years, 50 racks? Like, oh, man.
For that whole 10 years you were in jail, he didn't reach out to you at all?
He came to see me once, and I think I tried to spit in his face. in Rikers Island. So
that's probably why he didn't come back here.
I didn't want him to come back. I didn't even want him to come see me. I didn't even know he was coming to see me.
And users are shook by this, because if this is true and Shyne was indeed Diddy's fall guy, then it makes a whole lot of sense why at one point Shyne believed Diddy was a physical form of the devil.
At one point I thought he was the devil.
And 50 grand for 10 years in prison has sparked reactions like, dude did 10 years for you and all you gave him was 50 grand. First off, ain't no amount of money worth losing your freedom, but for 10 years you owed that man 10 million. Diddy later became a billionaire in that time frame, so you could even push it to 100 million in restitution if you wanted to. And some have expanded on what academics recently revealed in response to this hilarious reaction. What more did Shyne want?
You serious?
Which got this response. Drake just gave Young Thug $1 million and Diddy was a billionaire and the reason this dude went to jail. What do you mean? Laughing emoji. And if you recall, Diddy proposed a $50 million bail that was rejected after his arrest, and mind you, he continues to push for it. And moving on, we got some wild details from Suge Knight about the Puffy parties. Check out a snippet from the Michael Franchise podcast, where Suge revealed that even a former US president went to the Puffy parties.
And that did happen with Puffy.
We would be happy. Yeah, 1,000%.
You think Obama had anything to do with any of these parties that he had?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You got presidents, you got preachers. T.D. Jakes is one of the biggest black preachers around that everybody loves. Everybody in prison, if they try to get the word of religion, they're not going to the chapel somewhere. They're turning to watch T.D. Jakes. He had to resign from his whole community.
That's right.
You talking about the top of the top.
Unbelievable. Man, I got a lot of questions with this guy, but you answered the first one. How do you get away with something like this for all this time with all these people that are allegedly involved,
And in response to this snippet on X, some have expanded. At this point, it is probably easier to name the people that aren't PDF files in Hollywood or the government. And moving on, we got to hear from Snoop and Dre about their thoughts on who could take them in a Verzuz battle from Complex Con. And they didn't even bother to entertain this. Check out a snippet.
My brother Swiss Beats and Timberland. But the Swiss Beats and Timberland was to come to y'all and say, yo, we want Dre and Snoop Dogg to do a Verzuz. But y'all get to pick y'all opponent.
Okay, so that's a really good question. I was just on the phone with Swiss Beats yesterday and this morning, and we've been swapping tracks together, and I actually just did a song over one of his beats with Exhibit. Where's Exhibit? Where you at?
Right there.
What was that? Yesterday or the day before? Day before yesterday, we just did a song to Swiss Beats. One of his tracks that's, we did our thing around it and played with it, but yeah.
Is it co-production?
It's probably gonna be that. We haven't finished the song just yet, but yeah, Swiss Beats is like one of our brothers. Timberland is like, I really appreciate like Timberland because I feel like he inspired me. He was the first person that started doing the double time shit with the beats, like that thing. So I was really impressed with that, and that inspired me. So yeah, big shout out to Timberland.
Yeah.
Because Verzuz is supposed to be a celebration as well. It's not a battle, right? So they say, what two artists would you, Snoop, want to go with?
We got to go up against Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. That's like, what? Yeah.
How about Jay-Z?
I actually talk to Jimmy Jam every now and then.
Missy and Timberland? Nah. Jay-Z and Kanye. What do you think about that?
Verzuz?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
And I'll be looking forward to your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.